So Vow of Iron just came out, and the size and difficulty of the update can be quite overwhelming to some, which is why today I'm going to be covering the basics of the update, the most optimal and fastest way to progress, and then a comprehensive guide on how to beat the first boss, the Shogun. And with all that said, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so for those who don't know, Vow of Iron is a significantly harder game mode where you're gonna fight difficult enemies and bosses, and the progression is very different to regular progressions. Now with this game mode, there are a few things to note. First off, if you die, then you're immediately sent to the depths. And in order to get out, you're gonna have to fight a very challenging trial, which is gonna be one of 4 mobs before you hit power 10. Parliament, Prime Sharko, Squidbo Enforcer Hybrid, and a Bonekeeper with sped up attacks. Banks are also disabled in Vow of Iron, and you also cannot take items you get from Vow of Iron to the regular game. And with that said, in character selection, you will start with 5 mementos. Mementos are basically preset builds, and they all each give you different stats or talents. I won't go too much in detail on all of them, however the starting memento that excels the most by far is Berserker. The Berserker class outputs insane damage, and you also get access to Rush Hour, which when paired with the talent, lets you get temporary health on every M1. I do want to mention that in the background of the video, you'll mainly be seeing me on the Saint J class. That is because it used to be the best class before it got gutted this morning, which means that Berserker is by far the best starting class now, and I heavily recommend starting with it. Once you've picked your memento and you spawn in, you'll find yourself in a place called the Cerebral Spire. You'll also see that you have 2 items in your inventory, being the Etch's Flask and the Memory Shard. The Etch's Flask is a health potion which you can only use once before having to refill them. However, there are ways to get up to 5 of them by going to locations that I will be showing later on in the video. And as for the Memory Shard, it's a relic that you use to restore your health back to full once you get knocked. However, you can only use this shard when you're fighting what's called a memory boss. You can only use it once per fight, and upon using it, you will be down a bar of wither, and the fight will also restart. So in order to progress to Vow of Iron, talk to this NPC located here, and you'll be able to power up with 500 notes per power. You can only do this until power 5, where you will then have to fight a boss before you can start powering up again. You can also buy talents and mantras with this same NPC. To the left of him is the Antiquarian NPC, which you sell stuff with. And with all that in mind, you can get out of this place by interacting with this hole right here, where you'll see a UI pop on your screen asking you what boundary you want to spawn in. Boundaries are used to teleport you out into the wilderness. Upon teleporting out, you can go back to the spire by either logging, resetting, or by just going through the same portal that you teleported out of. Keep in mind that you can only spawn out of teleporters that you've discovered. Now to get notes, you can do missions and kill mobs. However, the way to progress that I recommend the most is by doing memories. Memories are harder versions of bosses or trials that you'll have to fight as a low power. There are 5 memories you can do: Ferryman, Primedon, Titus, Moonziri, and finally Trial of One. Now by far the most efficient way to progress to power 5 is to first teleport out to the Merit Peak boundary and then teleport back. This is very important to do, as if you do not do it, you're gonna have to stay all the way back, which is gonna waste a lot of time. But once you've done that, talk to the power up NPC and ask him what memories you have by talking to him with this dialogue. If he doesn't give you the Trial of One option, then just wipe your character and go again until you get the Trial of One option. Once you have it, go through the portals located here. Now there's a chance their visuals are bugged, but just go interact with the portals anyways. Now if it sends you to Miniatursa, then just proceed to Trial of One. But if it doesn't and sends you to anywhere else instead, then either log or just reset back to the spire and then go back to another portal until it sends you to Trial of One. Now I can send you to Primedon too, and if you're confident you can do that one instead, as it also gives a good amount of notes. However, the problem with Primedon is that you often get third party while fighting him, and there are also a lot of people that fight Primedon often, which is why I recommend to go with Trial of One instead, as it is far more consistent. Now this version of Trial of One is a bit harder, as you get no health back at all, and the parry check also has no AP frames anymore, so do keep that in mind. And after having finished Trial of One, you'll earn 8,000 notes, which will easily be able to get you to power 5 and also let you buy all the talents needed. Now when you're getting out of the spire, make sure to go through the Merit Peak boundary, which if you remember, we unlocked earlier. Now before you head to the boss, I recommend that you get all 5 Etch's Flasks, as that will help you get more health packs and therefore help you train, as you'll be able to last for longer. Now keep in mind that there is no specific order needed to get these flask upgrades. For the first flask, it is located at Songseeker in these buildings here on the map. There are many tough NPCs around which have a ton of health, so don't even bother fighting them and just get the flask and then get out. As for the second one, it is located at Miniatursa in similar buildings located here in the map. The third one is to the right of Mayonnaise Landing, located right here. And the fourth one, which I recommend going for last, is located here at Star Swipe, which is actually very close to the boss you have to go to, which makes it pretty convenient. Again, getting these flasks are optional, but I do recommend that you get them, as that will help you in the fight a lot. After you've gotten the flasks, head to the boss in the location shown on screen. And once you're here, I recommend that before entering the dungeon, you go take a right instead and go through this teleport to set your spawn here. And once you've done that, you're now ready to fight the Captain Shogun. Alright, before getting into his attacks, I'm gonna mention a few important things. First off, the Shogun Captain isn't a boss you can easily M1 after countering his attacks. Some of his attacks are easily punishable while others aren't, and it's very important to be patient and always respect his moves, as he is not a boss you can just stat check like other regular Deepwoken bosses. And if you get low to him, remember that you can easily get away from him and pop an Etches Blast. Now I'm gonna quickly cover all of the attack indicators just in case you do not know them. If an attack has a green indicator, it means that you can only parry them. If it has a white outline, then you can only jump over it. If it's blue, it means that you can only either block it or crouch under it. And finally, red means that you can only dodge it. It is very important that you remember these, as without knowing them, you will not be able to defeat this boss. And with all that said, let's finally get into his attacks. The Shogun Captain only has 2 attacks which you can immediately swing after defending them. The blue slash, which you can just crouch under and immediately swing after and get a free M1 in. And his regular M1s, which you can of course swing right after parrying, blocking, or dodging them. And as for the rest of his moves, he will always follow them up with a set sequence no matter what, even if you defend against them. The first move is the glowing stomp, which you need to jump over, after which he will follow it up with 2 swings that you have to parry, and after those 2 swings, he will follow it up with 1 more glowing slash that you will need to jump over. And it is only after the entire sequence that you'll be able to M1 him. Here is the sequence in full speed. Next up is his delayed red slash. After dodging it, he will always follow it up with another red slash. And it is only after dodging that one as well that you'll be able to get an M1 in. Next up is his non-glowing stomp. After parrying it, you have enough time to get an M1 in before he follows it up with an overhead swing. Here's the sequence in full speed. His next move is his delayed one-handed swing, which he will always follow up with a quick red slash and then 2 parry only swings. And after avoiding all of that, you'll be able to get an M1 in. The next move is his delayed green slash, which you will follow up with another delayed green slash. And then his last and final attack is his ultimate, which you'll know he's doing if you hear a roar. It is a very complicated sequence of moves, which he luckily rarely does. You cannot punish this attack at all, and it is near impossible to defend against due to the first swing being humanly unreactable, which is why I recommend to just slide jump away from him and get behind him since he isn't able to hit behind himself. That's about all for his attacks. I know this is a lot of information to process, but it will be something you'll have to get in your head if you want to be able to consistently beat the boss. This boss will feel extremely hard and unfair at first, and it will take a couple of tries to get him down, but once you understand him, he's probably the most fun and fair boss in Deepwoken. Well, excluding his ultimate, because that shit is completely unfair. And with all that said, here's how the full fight looks like. And after having defeated them, your power will be uncapped and you'll be able to further progress through Vow of Iron. Now if you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then do consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing so you don't miss my next upload. But anyways, take care.